In this podcast, two Gen Xers are taking a trip down memory lane, revisiting and reflecting on the cinema of the 1980s. We'll look at the hits and the flops, the studio blockbusters and art house indies, the critically acclaimed, and the universally reviled. The series is hosted by me, Lisa Molinelli, a writer and librarian, and features Dustin Morrow, a filmmaker, author, and professor of film. So pull on your leg warmers, crank up your boombox, and hop in the DeLorean. It's time for The Long Rewind. Welcome to The Long Rewind. I'm your host, Lisa. With me, as always, is Dustin.
Hello, everyone.
And today, I believe we are talking about body-switching movies. Is that correct?
Hey, you can't have an 80s movie podcast without at least one discussion of body-switching movies, one of the strangest subgenres of the decade.
Yeah. I mean, it existed before the 80s, but it proliferated a little, and it is a strange subgenre for sure.
Yeah, we had all of the genres that we still have today. We had horror films.
Of course.
We had romantic comedies, science fiction, fantasy. And some of those genres were stronger than others. But we do also have this interesting mix of subgenres that seem kind of unique to the 80s, or at least they're most readily identified with the 80s. It's not that we don't still have ninja movies today. Do we? Maybe we don't. We definitely don't still have breakdancing movies.
No, those we don't have, yeah.
What else? What else was purely 80s? But there were a bunch of slashers we still have, obviously, although they don't really look the same way that they looked in the 80s. It wasn't just, or at least most of them today aren't just lining up a bunch of teenagers to die one at a time in creative ways.
Right.
But that's what it was in the 80s. But that was a genre that was born in the 80s for sure.
The slasher film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess technically it was born right at the end of the 70s with Halloween, but it really took off after Friday the 13th, which was the beginning of the 80s.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It was an 80s genre. The 80s sex comedy was another big one. Porky's kind of launched this whole subgenre of comedy built around teenagers trying to lose their virginity. So there were just a ton of these. And one of the strangest ones was the body switching movie. Yeah. And I was thinking, there were I could think of like four off the top of my head where I was like, oh yeah, these are like the iconic body switching movies. And then I did a little more reading and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. There are actually more than I thought there were.
Wow.
It's not an enormous number. It's not like the slasher genre where there were literally dozens and dozens and dozens of them. But they're a good, there's like 10 of them probably, which seems like a lot for such a simple conceit is having a couple of people, usually an older person and a younger person, swap bodies.
Yeah, not only that also seems like a lot for a subgenre for a pretty short period of time. When you think about 10 years, that's not a real long time. So 10 movies in 10 years, that's a fair amount for a weird little subgenre for sure. Well,
and you would expect it in a way if the first one had been a massive hit.
Right.
Because Hollywood, there is something. You're right. 10 years is not a lot of time to see this many films, but it so often happens that if there is a hit, then you get it's like if you took the 10 years right after Star Wars and you said, wow, there are so many movies that look just like Star Wars in this era. That's not weird at all.
It would make sense. They flog a
what's
profitable
weird
idea.
about this subgenre is it's not like any of these films except one were particularly successful.
Right.
In fact, a lot of them were bombs, and yet Hollywood kept trying it.
Yeah,
so there was something
very strange,
something compelling about the idea. I can go further back than probably any episode of The Long Rewind to tell you where this idea started, if you're interested.
Yeah, please tell us.
The body swaps were first popularized in Western culture by the personal identity chapter of John Locke's Essay Concerning Human Understanding in 1689.
Ooh, getting philosophical and enlightenment based
he described
here.
the mind at birth as a blank slate that is then filled later through your experience. the essay was one of the principal sources of empiricism in modern philosophy.
Yep.
So it was the first one to talk about the idea of being able to switch out your mind for another mind. Obviously, a more intellectual reading of what would become a very dumb idea for most 80s movies.
I would not say that most of those movies evoke thoughts of Locke or enlightenment, for sure.
So I also checked to see whether body switching movies were a thing prior to the 80s. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was one from the 70s that immediately sprang to my mind because I've seen it. But I was curious if there were any earlier, and there were. There was one in 1940.
Okay.
It was a Hal Roach film called Turnabout. And it
Good
had
title.
a man and a woman, I think they're a couple, switch bodies and kind of learn about sexual politics and what have you.
Wow,
in the 1940s.
For 1940, that's
I haven't seen this
good.
movie, but apparently it's pretty bad, and it's notable in some ways as being different from all the other body switching movies by having the characters retain their original voices.
Oh,
So apparently it kind of looks like a poorly dubbed kung fu movie.
I see.
In a way.
Yeah.
And would take you out of the fact that they would have their own voice kind of means, I think that it kind of negates the whole idea of the experience of walking in somebody else's shoes, because you can't really live as them if you still sound like yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's strange. I mean, that's interesting that a movie like that came out in the 40s. I wouldn't have expected that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you know the 70s one that I'm referring to?
It's not immediately springing to mind.
Jodie Foster.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Freaky Friday?
Freaky Friday, yeah.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday came out in
Classic.
1976. It was a Disney live action movie at a time where Disney live action movies were pretty lame.
Yeah.
She plays the daughter of an actress named Barbara Harris, and they switch minds, and Barbara walks in Jodie's adolescent preteen body, and Jodie gets to be a fully grown woman.
Yep.
And they learn that each other's lives are more complicated than they thought. And when they switch back, they're able to get along. This was famously remade later in the 90s, right?
I believe
with,
so.
With Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah. For our younger listeners, they may remember that version.
They may not even know that there was a 70s version with Jodie Foster.
Yep.
I watched this again not so many years ago. It's pretty bad.
You mean the 70s Freaky Friday?
Yeah, the 70s one. Mm-hmm. It's surprisingly bad. Yeah.
You expected it to be better?
She doesn't behave, neither one of them behaves that differently than they did before. So I don't know. It's
interesting.
Part of it is maybe, I mean, Jodie Foster's a great actor, and she was a great actor even when she was young, but she was also always a very mature young person.
I see. So it wasn't like
if I think of the really great teenage Jodie Foster movies, like Foxes, it's like those are movies where she's pretty much an adult, like in it, and behaves like an adult. And Taxi Driver, these are like she was always kind of like a mature adult in a kid's body. Yeah. So seeing her play that is nothing.
It wouldn't seem like a big change.
No.
Yeah, I can see that.
So how many body switching movies from the 80s do you think you can name?
Probably not that many, and probably not any that are good.
Well, there aren't many that are
good.
You might argue that there's one that's good.
I probably haven't.
Maybe two.
I don't even know if I've seen the ones I don't think I've seen that many of them.
All right, what can you name?
Yeah. Vice Versa, Like Father, Like Son. We'll have to explain to people what these are if they don't know.
Okay, well, we'll go through
sort of obscure, but
wait. Can you remember who the body switching actors are in each movie?
I believe so. Yes, I think in Vice Versa it was Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage. And then in Like Father, Like Son, it was Kirk Cameron and I think Dudley Moore, which is like the strangest pair ever.
That those two would be related.
Yeah, that they would, because I think that's supposed to be the father and the son, right? That doesn't even seem genetically possible, but okay. Those are two. I feel like I should be able to. one of the Corey's movies. Is it Dream a Little Dream?
Yep.
Is that the one?
Uh-huh.
I didn't even know that was a body switching movie. I think you had to tell me that. It's a very strange movie from my understanding.
Do you remember who he switches bodies with?
It's Corey Feldman who switches bodies, right? Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember.
It's Jason Robards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a George Burns body
There is a George
movie?
Burns one, yep.
I don't know what that's called or who's in it, but I think there's, like I said, a George Burns
It's called 18 Again.
18 Again. Who's the kid?
His name's Charlie Schlatter.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. And I think there's like, well, is this a body switching movie? There's that like Steve Martin, Lily Tomlin.
All of Me.
I mean, I guess that's sort of a body switching movie.
It's a total body switching movie.
But one of them's not alive, right? Or
yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a cheat. We would count it in the same way that we would count Big, in that it's kind of like it's kind of a body switching movie, but there's no it's not a 2-person. I mean, it is a 2-person movie. We'll get to it in a second.
Yeah.
So the first body switching movie of the 80s, weirdly, is a little-known Australian horror movie called Alison's Birthday.
Oh, my.
About a 16-year-old girl who gets forcibly inserted into the body of a 104-year-old woman as she is dragged into a diabolical cult of devil worshipping.
That's not where I thought that would go, but okay.
And with that premise, you would think, sign me up.
Yeah.
Especially knowing about the Ozploitation scene of Australia. Australia, if you've never heard the term Ozploitation, Australia has a rich, wonderful history in the 70s and 80s of making really great, grimy, low-budget genre movies.
Right.
The one probably everybody has heard of is Mad Max, Mad Max.
The original Mad Max, yeah.
But all of them, yeah.
Oh, that's true, all of them.
Yeah. And there were just a ton. There's a great documentary called Not Quite Hollywood that is kind of an interesting overview of Ozploitation as a genre. And so this movie falls in that, but it's surprisingly pretty boring.
Okay, because
like
this seems like something you would want to watch.
Not a lot happens. Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen this and it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then in 84, we get All of Me.
That is the Steve Martin, Lily Tomlin one, right?
Yeah. So Lily Tomlin plays this wealthy woman who's been bedridden her whole life, and she's dying, and she feels like she never really had a chance to live because she's been in her bed her whole life. And so she wants to transfer her soul using this like mystic kind of magic man who's going to use this bowl. This all sounds really dumb. It is really dumb. To transfer her soul into the body of Victoria Tennant.
Okay.
Who became Mrs. Steve Martin not long after this movie.
Right.
However, something goes wrong. Victoria Tennant's character turns out to be kind of a conniving. She's after Lily Tomlin's money. Doesn't really want her soul in her body. And so shenanigans happen, and the bowl with Lily Tomlin's soul in it hits Steve Martin on the head and transfers Lily Tomlin's soul into Steve Martin. However, she doesn't completely take him over. She takes over half of him. Like literally he's split down the middle so that she controls the right half and he controls the left half, or maybe it's the other way around.
Right.
And they can talk to each other because he can hear her in his head.
Yeah.
Nobody else can hear her, just him. So he sounds like a crazy man as he's running around talking to himself essentially, but really talking to her. And when he looks into a mirror, he can see her. On the other side of the mirror.
Right. I can't remember. Can he see himself and her or just her?
Nope, just her.
Just her. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of makes sense. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. What I remember about it best, and I saw it a bunch of times when I was young, I really liked it because I was such a Steve Martin fan.
Yeah.
And what I think holds up best about it is Steve Martin. Like that performance is truly something to see. I haven't quite seen another actor do it. The closest I can think to what Steve Martin does in that movie would be like Bruce Campbell in the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
The way he demonstrates physically possession.
Not having control over your own body. Yeah.
And it's truly wild to see Steve Martin fighting with himself to control the body, and even like learning, because she controls one leg and he controls the other.
Right.
He has to learn. They have to collaborate in order to walk down the street. And watching them learn to walk as a person who only has one leg is really amazing, because it is, of course, just Steve Martin, obviously.
Yeah.
And he, he fights himself, he hits himself, and, they get in all kinds of, they don't get along, obviously.
Right.
Or it wouldn't be funny. It's pretty wild.
It's a feat of physical comedy, as I recall. That's something that stands out.
You've seen this movie, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think you and I watched it a few years ago. Yeah.
The next one in 87 was Like Father, Like Son, which Lisa mentioned contains the two actors that clearly would be related.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. I mean, it's hard to imagine a more unlikely pair.
Yeah.
Surely it's possible.
It's also maybe worth mentioning for our younger viewers, if there are any listening, that Kirk Cameron was once upon a time like the biggest.
He was a huge teen
heartthrob.
Yeah, teen heartthrob. He was on Growing Pains. He was in all the teen magazines.
He was Mike Seaver on Growing Pains, and he was on the cover of every issue of Tiger Beat and Bop
16
and 16. All of these girl-focused teen magazines.
Yeah, teen idol magazines. Yep.
He was huge. He was so big.
He was really big. I had a lot of my girlfriends had major crushes on him. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it wasn't so insane, the idea that Hollywood would build a movie around him. He never really became a movie star.
Not at that time.
He had this movie. He had a really bad movie about debate called Listen to Me with Jamie Gertz.
Oh, right. That's right.
I'm struggling to remember what else he made film-wise.
Did he make other? I mean, obviously he's made many movies now in a different vein.
Notoriously terrible Christian.
Yeah, that's his
movies.
thing now. Yeah. But those are the only two like Hollywood releases I can recall, mainstream releases.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd know better. But
yeah. Dudley Moore was a great British comedian going back to the 50s or the 60s, I should say. Where he was partnered with a guy named Peter Cook, and they did a lot of stuff together, and then he had some big hits later in his career with a film called 10 with Julie Andrews and Bo Derek.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
A movie called Arthur, which was an Oscar winner, and was just one of these kind of beloved British comedians. Although he neither looks nor sounds anything like Kirk Cameron. Like they seem like they're from different planets. So it's really crazy to think that they would be related. He's pretty British, and I doubt he did an American accent in that film. I can't even imagine him doing one. They're physically incredibly different. So I don't know. It's a strange choice. So I saw this movie back in the old days when it came out, and I don't remember how they switch bodies. Yeah. I mean, there's always some kind of there's always some silly mystical reason or something. Yeah, I can't remember, and I don't remember much about it beyond that it was bad. Mm-hmm. And that Kirk Cameron was particularly bad. I think the movie relied on Dudley Moore's gifts as a physical comedian, which he clearly has. Yeah. And I think he probably fared better than Kirk Cameron. I mean, that's probably an easy assumption to make just because he's such a much better performer than Kirk Cameron. But I think Kirk Cameron was kind of a pretty bad actor, really, even back in the day. Yeah. When I've caught the occasional rerun of Growing Pains, I'm always a little surprised at how terrible he was for being so huge. Limited. Yeah, well, sitcoms in the 80s, it was a different skill set, I think. Yeah. And I don't know that you had to be a great actor to be in them. I don't know. I do remember that Sean Astin plays the best friend. In Like Father, Like Son? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I never saw it. I remember the, promos for it, but I never did see it. Yeah. So the next one is a year later in 88, and that's 18 again. Okay, the George Burns one. Yeah. Yeah. And this one, I think it's his grandson, not his son. Okay. That makes would make more sense because George Burns was like in his 80s by the time they made this movie. Possible to have an 18-year-old son, I suppose. But, and if ever there was kind of a bad This made no sense either because George Burns only acts like George Burns.
That's why you hire George Burns.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to give he wasn't an actor. He's not going to give a performance. He's not going to play somebody. He's going to stand there with a cigar and do kind of low-key jokes.
Yep.
I mean, he was a good straight man to Gracie Allen.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, he's a legend, obviously, for what he is, but not a versatile actor.
No,
perhaps.
Not at all. Do you remember the Oh God movies?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see them, but sure, I remember them. There's
As
Oh
a
God.
kid, I was a particular fan of Oh God Book 2.
Which one was Oh God? There was an Oh God, You Devil also.
Yeah, that was the third one.
Oh my God, there were 3?
There was Oh God.
Yeah.
And I think that was him and Ted Wass.
Okay.
From Blossom and Sheena.
Wow. Okay.
And then there was Oh God Book 2.
Yeah.
Which is where God's afraid that that people are losing faith, and he goes to the daughter of an advertising executive and asks her to create a worldwide advertising campaign to bring God back into people's lives. And what she comes up with is Think God. Which she and her friends write on all over the place. They write it on cars, and that's her and her 8-year-old friends. And it somehow does sweep the world and bring God back into people's lives.
And that's Oh God Book 2.
Pretty kooky movie. And naturally, if you were God and you needed an ad campaign, you would go to the 8-year-old daughter of a rando advertising executive.
Yeah, why not go to the advertising executive? Maybe you think you can.
And then
get
Oh God,
into
You Devil, he plays both God and the devil.
Oh, he played both.
Maybe that's the one with Ted Wass. I think it is.
I don't know.
I think Ted Wass is a songwriter. They're battling over the soul of this struggling songwriter. I don't remember what the first one. Oh, you know what? I just remembered.
Okay.
The first one is John Denver.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't remember what the plot is, but I remember John Denver's in it.
Okay.
So it's George Burns and John Denver. Anyway.
What premises these had? These were very strange premises.
The point is, though, and even in the third one, he doesn't do anything differently as the devil that he doesn't do as God. So this is not a guy who was going to play anything. So the idea that you would have George Burns play a character that had a teenage boy inhabiting him makes no sense, because as soon as the teenage boy's inside him, he still sounds exactly the same. He still talks this is a problem that haunted another one of these movies, which we'll get to in a moment. Mm-hmm. So that was 18 again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
notoriously pretty terrible, but also just really forgotten. I don't know how many Gen Xers would even remember this movie.
I remember it being out. I did not see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you believe that your average 80s teenager would just be into dirty old man jokes and Borscht Belt humor, then that's the movie for you.
And that, I mean, honestly, to be fair, it's why you hire George Burns. Again, it's to be George Burns. You don't hire him to give a performance. So I assume that's what they were banking on with this movie was, you're going to come to see George Burns do that stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you would hire him otherwise. So.
Yeah. So the next one out is Big, which is obviously the undisputed best movie of this list.
Yep.
Screenplay by Gary Ross and Steven Spielberg's sister.
Oh.
Anne Spielberg.
Okay.
Directed by Penny Marshall.
Right. The wonderful Penny Marshall.
Her second movie after Jumping Jack Flash.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was a big hit. It was a late summer movie, and the rare comedy to get a Best Actor nomination.
I mean, that movie is still, it's a classic, still beloved.
First nomination for Tom Hanks, I think, at the Oscars. Yeah.
Wow, okay. I mean, it was that's a really beloved classic movie that I think people still watch today.
Yeah, it holds up. Love. It's pretty charming. The one thing that is kind of weird about it now, and was probably weird about it then, but I don't remember ever thinking this back in the day. I mean, I was a kid. But he sleeps with the Elizabeth Perkins character when he's in the Tom Hanks body.
Right.
And then so he's 12, I think he's supposed to be. And then at the end, she takes him back to his house. Remember Mercedes Rule is his mom.
Okay. No, I don't remember a lot about it. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. So the device that makes him a kid is Zoltar.
Zoltar,
fortune telling, like
carnival thing.
Game. Yeah. So they're all through the movie. He and his pal are looking for another looking for the Zoltar game, so that it might be able to turn him back into a kid. So eventually that happens, and they find it. And he turns back into a kid, and she sees him in the grown adult suit, and he's like this little kid. And now I watch it, and I just think, she's like crying because it's this moving moment where she's saying goodbye to him, essentially. Mm-hmm. But I'm also sitting there thinking, is she also sitting there thinking, wow, I had sex with that guy?
Maybe it's not that kind of movie, but in terms of the way they're going to think and talk, but yeah.
I don't know. It's just perhaps a very strange
that is odd
element to me. I don't know why they put that in there.
Yeah. And it's not a body switching movie in the sense of the other movies where there is another body. It's just a kid who gets turned into an adult and then gets turned back into a kid. So
I don't have any problem with the idea that, like, it's funny that he might stumble into that his innocence as a 12-year-old might be refreshing to an adult woman, and so he stumbles into a romance with her. I just don't know why they took it that
you mean
that
sleeping
step
together
to make it physical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it crosses over. All of these movies have kind of like, there's a creepy element to almost all of these.
Especially because it's usually people of two very different ages.
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be part of the comedy often, right? At least that's the idea, I would think, as well as the revelation. But yeah, I would imagine it creates a lot of awkward moments.
Big is a great movie, though. I shouldn't be focusing on this. I'm just noting it's the one thing about it that I think is a little
I definitely
on
didn't
the skeevy side.
I didn't remember that at all. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think it's not what most people remember about it.
No. It's very funny. John Lovitz is funny.
Oh, is John Lovitz in it?
Yeah. He's like the coworker. Of when Hanks gets a job working at the toy company. Yeah. He's in the next cubicle over.
Right.
He's very funny.
That is funny.
His discovery of caviar in the party scene is very funny. And of course everybody remembers the piano scene where they're jumping on the piano scene. Yeah. Which he can still do.
You can still do that?
No, he can still do that.
He can still do it. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, he was on the Graham Norton show.
Oh.
And who was with him? I think it was Sandra Bullock.
Uh-huh.
And Graham Norton asked him if he could still do
the piano dance,
and they brought out the piano, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he went down and did it, and then Sandra Bullock came down and did the Robert Loggia part with him.
Yeah.
It's not that hard a song, I suppose, but
still, you got to move your feet around. Yeah. I don't know. I think
there's that one big jump.
Oh.
There's one point in the song where you have to like leap about 8 keys.
Well, yeah, there's an octave in that song. So for sure. Yeah, that's funny. I guess it seems to me like some actors, they learn something and it kind of sticks with them forever,
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure he practiced it 12 million times.
Yeah,
probably. And it's probably muscle memory at some point.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's probably worth watching for Tom Hanks's performance at the very least. Yeah.
Also 88, Vice Versa, which Lisa mentioned is Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage.
Yep.
And this one is almost a straight up remake of Freaky Friday, kind of like Father, Like Son. It's Reinhold's like this typical 80s dad. He's divorced. He's really busy with his work and he has no time for his son, and his son feels neglected. And Fred Savage is this 11-year-old kid who's getting bullied at school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, wants his dad to pay attention to him. There's some kind of weird artifact from like Bangkok or someplace that that he comes up with that that I think the Reinhold character brings home as a souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. They don't actually swap bodies. I think they actually literally transform into each other.
That's silly.
Like they
but yeah.
physically turn into each other.
Right. Like why that would,
I think
why
when
you bother.
Savage becomes Reinhold, he kind of like, it's like he hulks out, like he splits his clothes, if I remember right.
Right. I have not seen this movie, but I remember seeing many, what's weird is I remember seeing the promos for almost all of these movies. And that's when I remember seeing promos for. And yeah, I remember there being this thing where they both like physically change some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of FX, visual effects to make them change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems unnecessary.
Yeah. There's also an element, I mean, of course these are broad, ridiculous comedies, but there's also an element in these movies where like the adult in the kid doing things that your average adult really wouldn't get hung up on. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Vice versa. Uh-huh. I'm thinking of, I remember there's a joke in Vice Versa where the Judge Reinhold in Fred Savage body character gets upset that he can't get Grey Poupon at school.
I see.
And like, I don't know. I mean, Grey Poupon was for those of you that don't remember or have never heard of it, it's a fancy mustard that in the 80s was the subject of a, for then viral, the equivalent of
very
viral.
Popular commercial. Yeah. Yeah.
A series of commercials in which somebody in a limo would roll up next to somebody else in a limo on the street, knock on the window and ask for if the person had a jar of Grey Poupon that they could pass them.
Yep.
But so it was a thing. It was an instant punchline, Grey Poupon.
Yeah.
But yeah, a fancy mustard. Like would the Reinhold character really be upset that they don't have Grey Poupon at school? Only if he's an idiot. So that's not like somebody just being an adult who can't read the room. That's like you're an idiot, essentially. And all these movies had a little bit of an element of that. I mean,
again, as you say, they were broad comedies. So low-hanging fruit, I guess.
Anyway, Vice Versa, pretty bad. Not as bad as Like Father, Like Son. Mm-hmm. Not as bad as 18 Again, but nowhere near as good as Big.
Sure.
So this is all it's pretty low hanging fruit though. It's pretty rough. 89, the aforementioned Dream a Little Dream. Mm-hmm. You have seen this, right?
No, not really.
Oh,
I've seen like little portions of it and found myself thoroughly confused.
Yeah.
And astonished, but I don't really remember anything about what I saw, and I haven't seen the whole thing all the way through.
Yeah. It's borderline incoherent.
Yeah.
But here's what I think it's about. So Corey Feldman and Meredith Salinger, Natty Gann, Mrs. Pat Oswalt, they are a couple in high school, and they use the backyard of Jason Robards and Piper Laurie of Carrie. Okay. They use their backyard as a shortcut to get to school, I think. Okay. And they're running through the yard one day, and Jason Robards and Piper Laurie are kind of like these mystical hippie types. And they're in the backyard meditating. And the two young people run into the two older people, and that's when they swap minds.
I see.
So it's a double swap. This is the only one with a double swap, I think.
Wow, I didn't know it was a double swap.
Yeah, so Feldman goes into Robards, but then Meredith Salinger goes into Piper Laurie. Yeah. And vice versa.
Yep.
Yeah. It is, it's very strange. It has all this kind of like weird 80s pseudo philosophy in it. And the Meredith Salinger character is kind of, there's something about her being absorbed into some kind of higher plane of existence called the collective mind. Oh. And he has to save her or something.
So she's not really in Piper Laurie's body. She's in this collective mind.
She is in Piper Laurie's body, but she's being drawn into the collective mind.
Sure. Okay.
It's part of what makes it confusing is that Feldman, much like George Burns, doesn't behave any differently once he swaps. Mm-hmm. Like once Robards goes into him, like he's still just basically doing a Michael Jackson impression, which is what he does at the beginning of the movie. Okay. This is Feldman at the peak of his like, I want to be Michael Jackson era. Like he is wearing full on the outfit from Bad, like top to bottom.
Yeah. Are both Corys in this movie, or is it just Corey Feldman?
Yeah, Corey Haim is in it. He plays. It's part of the Corey's filmography.
That's what I thought. But he didn't come up yet.
He plays
so sure.
Corey Feldman's pal.
A real stretch. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's it's very confusing. I'm sure it makes sense to the writer director, but to anybody else, good luck. I did find. My favorite quote about this is from Roger Ebert in his review. He called it aggressively unwatchable. Wow. Yeah. Which I think is pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think I ever knew it was a body switching movie. I can remember seeing lots of like promos and trailers for that movie. Had no idea it was about body switching. None at all.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
So there's two more, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
You would think that
these are the ones
would be the end, but no,
Yeah.
There were two in 89.
Wow. I mean, that you've kind of tapped out all the ones I basically remember. So I'm interested to hear what else
one is called Ghosts Can't Do It.
I've never heard of this.
This is part of the Bo Derek and John Derek softcore cinema.
I see.
We might have mentioned this in some other episode, but Bo Derek was this huge sex symbol in the 80s because of a movie she made right at the end of the 70s called 10.
Which you mentioned earlier.
With Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen in forever, but I think if I remember right, what it's about is Dudley Moore and Julie Andrews are like a couple and they're on vacation or even their honeymoon or something. And he sees the Bo Derek character who's a perfect 10. And he has like inclinations to be, to cheat. Right. And this made Bo Derek a huge star, this movie. Like the iconic image of her running down the beach with cornrows.
With the braids.
Braids.
And the swimsuit, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was this sort of one of the indelible images?
Yeah,
of
that's the Bo Derek image for sure.
80s. Mm-hmm. She was married to a guy named John Derek who had previously been with, and I think maybe even married to Brigitte Bardot. No, not Bardot. Ursula Andress. Yeah. Anyway, he has this history of marrying these beautiful sex symbol women and then directing them in softcore movies where they are with other men.
Yep.
And it was just a thing he did, and it's a thing that the Derricks did all through the 80s. They'd made a movie called Bolero where she's in love with a bullfighter. They did Tarzan the Ape Man where she plays Jane to Tarzan. They would often get these kind of really reputable actors to play opposite her, older guys. In the case of Ghosts Can't Do It, it's Anthony Quinn.
Wow.
The legendary actor Anthony Quinn from Zorba the Greek.
Yeah.
Here's the premise of this movie. I've never seen this movie.
Oh.
A beautiful young widow is determined to bring her husband back to life. Coached by her husband's impatient ghost, she travels to the most exotic corners of the world in search of the perfect body to receive his reincarnated soul. Along the way, she runs into a group of ruthless corporate raiders, a white witch, and a greedy charmer who want both her money and her body.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't know. The other one from 89 was a movie called Chances Are.
Oh,
This one I think I saw even, although I don't remember anything about it.
I've heard the title. I don't know that I've seen it.
It's Sybil Shepherd, Robert Downey Jr., Mary Stuart Masterson, and Ryan O'Neal.
Okay.
A man's love for his pregnant wife, Corinne, played by Sybil Shepherd, is interrupted when a car accident sends him to heaven.
Oh.
It happens. He is reincarnated, however, and 2 decades later, he is a writer named Alex Finch, played by Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
But when Alex starts dating Miranda, played by Mary Stuart Masterson, his all-grown-up daughter from his previous life, oh, that's gross.
Oh, my.
He remembers his love for Corinne. This spells trouble for his past life best friend, Philip, played by Ryan O'Neal, who is also now pursuing Corinne.
I'm confused. You kind of lost me a little ways back. Wow, that's confused. That sounds confusing.
So
I don't
know. His wife is pregnant.
Yeah.
He dies in an accident. He's reincarnated. Right. 2 decades later, he starts dating his own daughter.
Gosh.
which causes him to remember that he loves the mom.
So this brings him his
which
thoughts
brings
of his
him
past
into
life.
Competition with his best friend from his previous
Who is
wife,
wooing Sybil
who's now
Shepherd now.
after the mom.
Whew.
Yeah, there's a reason it probably isn't better remembered.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Can I do Lisa and I like to play a game called Shallatize?
Yeah, you may have to some folks will know, but who's
well, why
tell them
don't
what
you
that
explain?
Well, so Gene Shalit was a very popular, well-known movie critic of the day. I forget what show. He was on one of the morning shows, right?
I think it was the Today Show.
The Today Show. He was like the critic for the Today Show, and he'd be on with his little movie segment giving his reviews, and he was well known for his sort of punny, pithy reviews.
Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
His review of A Fish Called Wanda was the following.
Okay,
it's so funny that I know this word for word.
I'm not surprised.
A fish called, well, he also spoke like this. And he had big horn rim glasses, giant eyebrows, and a giant walrus mustache that stuck out.
Big curly hair.
He kind of looked like, giant curly hair. He kind of looked like those Groucho masks, where you get the nose and the glasses and the mustache.
Yeah, he was quite a personality. Like he was very
and
memorable.
He spoke like this.
Yeah, he sure did.
So he said, a fish called Wanda is the catch of the day.
Right.
Go see it just for the halibut.
Yeah, right. That's okay. So now you have a sense of who Gene Shalit
all
was.
His reviews, good, negative, or positive, were just a parade of bad puns.
Yeah.
Weren't the 80s great that he was around and that was a thing?
I do love that. Absolutely. That was wonderful.
So here's my shallotization of chances are, which I don't remember. Yeah. Chances are it stinks.
Yep.
You know who it is also is I think the critic. Do you remember the cartoon?
The John Lovitz
Speaking
again.
Of John Lovitz,
the critic.
Yeah, there was an animated cartoon in the, I don't know if it was late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah,
I want to say early 90s, but
I think
it
was a 90s thing, yeah.
Yeah, but he played a movie critic, and it was from the people that made The Simpsons, in fact. The animation looks very similar to The Simpsons, and it was essentially like a bunch of, I loved it, because it was a ton of movie spoofs, but he was he was this like put upon nebbishy New York movie critic. But that's the voice that Lovitz used to voice the critic. And I think it must have come from
sort of Gene Shalit
more than anything else. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
It stinks.
That's right.
That was his catchphrase.
That was his catchphrase.
On the critic. I believe
so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a question. If you had the opportunity to body swap with your mom when you were young, do you think you would have wanted to do it?
Would I have wanted to do it?
Yeah. Say just for a day.
I mean, I guess it would be.
You could get back. You could get out of it. You're not going to be stuck in it.
Okay. I mean, obviously, me. I'm thinking of all the horrible things that could go wrong. I guess it would be kind of interesting.
Okay.
So I don't know, though. I don't know.
Second question,
though.
No,
I don't think so.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah. Let's say you're 12 and you get to drive around in a adult body and be an adult for a day. What do you do with the day?
I've kind of changed my mind. I'm not sure I want to do that.
Oh, that's no fun. That's
all right. I guess I have to do it.
Answer.
What would I do?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like the worst person to ask this question of, because I'm always such a rule follower. It wasn't like I was like, let's go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
And
you would have stayed home, cleaned the house, and cooked dinner.
Probably gone and seen an R-rated movie. I don't know. Yeah, that's about as wacky as I get. Well, you must have, since you've asked me, I suspect you have an answer to this question.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Really.
Okay.
I mean, like you, I don't know. I think the real thing, it's all good, wacky fun in 80s movies, but I think if this actually happened to you,
I think it'd be very unsettling and
you might have kind of a nervous breakdown and some trauma.
I'd probably hide in a room.
It doesn't seem like a thing that would be good for your mental health.
No, I'd probably lock myself in a room or something. It sounds really upsetting.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was a pharmacist. and I would not have known how to do his job.
Right.
Like he knew 5,000 plus drugs off the top of his head.
You'd put the community in danger.
Yeah, I would not have been able to like be like, I don't know. I wouldn't have been able to fill prescriptions.
Yeah.
And I'm notoriously bad for dealing with the public.
Oh.
So I wouldn't be able to do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could have, I couldn't have hacked it as my dad for a day.
Well, then lots of respect
so I would have called in and been like, I just can't come in.
Right.
I mean, my dad, that wasn't really an option for my dad. He had to work even when he was incredibly sick because of the nature of his job. People needed their medicine.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the point of these movies, right? If you want to give them some credit, it's about appreciating perhaps what your parents are doing.
That's true. Yeah. How hard it was, how hard their lives were.
Or, you know, all the knowledge they have that you don't have, whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah. So there you go.
However, so do you remember, you've seen Hiding Out, right? With John Cryer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a movie. It's not a body switching movie. It's a great movie from the 80s, 87, I think. Mm-hmm. John Cryer plays a Wall Street guy who witnesses a murder, and they put him into the witness protection program, but there's a mole, and the mob is trying to kill him, and they find him, and so he gets away, and he decides to not go back to the feds, but to go into hiding himself until the trial happens.
Right.
And the thing he decides to do, because it's an 80s movie...
Because you could do this.
Because, of course, this is what you would do.
Yeah.
Is he goes to his cousin's house and he enrolls in high school for some reason and decides he's going to hide out by masquerading as a teenager because he still looks pretty young. Again, by the nature of an 80s movie where every high school kid looked like they were 25.
I mean, although to be fair, John Cryer is pretty young.
He did look pretty young. Yeah. So he changes his hair. Anyway, all this is the long way of saying he goes back to high school, and he goes back with a lot of the knowledge of having gone to college and been an adult. So he has all of these opinions about politics. And when the teachers at the school are force feeding him stuff that he knows to not be true, like there's a great scene where the teacher is talking about how Nixon was railroaded and how horrible Nixon was treated. And he's sitting there at his desk and finally he's like, he can't take it anymore. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he just starts railing against Nixon, and the teacher is totally fooled. I would say it would be nice. I don't know that as a kid, I would necessarily want to be teleported into.
Right.
But to have the opportunity when you were a kid to have the intellectual capacity and maturity to go to school even for one day. Yeah. To be able to call all those people on their crap.
It's the youth is wasted on the young situation, right?
That would be nice. I would say that's something I could buy into.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's really interesting. I wonder what you think about, like, since most of these movies weren't that great, what do you think would make a good body switching movie? Like what could make a body switching movie good?
I think what I just said would be rewarding. And I don't know if there's any of that in Vice Versa or Like Father, Like Son, because I don't remember them well enough to remember if there's a scene where the kid with the intellect of an adult gets to call the authority figures of their school on their crap. But that would be, especially for a kid viewer, that
the
would
empowerment
be really,
of the kid.
Yeah, that would be a really kind of like satisfying thing to watch.
Yeah, like a fist pumping moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that.
Okay.
But yeah, beyond that, I also think like they don't have the adult characters in these movies don't have jobs that are so life and death that it becomes really
like surgeons or doctors of any kind, or
I think they're mostly like Wall Street guys. Like I can't remember what Dudley Moore does, but I know in Vice Versa he's like a financier or something, and I don't know. It's not like there might even be a scene where the kid kind of blows a meeting or something. That's certainly part of Big, right? Because he ends up in a boardroom of this toy store, but he still behaves like a kid.
Right.
And that ends up being an asset to him.
Because it's like they can get in the mind of a kid, even though they don't know that's what they're doing. Yeah.
But it might be fun to see like the body swap mashup with Top Gun.
No.
What about the one where Maverick's 12-year-old son gets put into Maverick's body and has to fly a jet and go fight overseas? I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, look.
I'm pitching the worst movie that could ever possibly be made.
This is maybe just showing us how difficult it is to make a good body switching movie.
Yeah,
I guess
it is. It might be why we don't really get them anymore.
Yeah.
Although, as of the recording of this, I have heard that there's going to be a Freaky Friday sequel.
Freaky Friday seems to be
Jamie
the one
Lee
that
is coming back.
Right. I think I have heard that too. It seems to be the one that resurfaces the most often. Freaky Friday. It just seems to come back.
Well, there was even a horror movie spin on it that was just called Freaky, where Vince Vaughn plays a serial killer that somehow ends up switching minds with a teenage girl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which I saw, and I remember thinking it was okay, but like that they left it was a lot of unfulfilled promise from that wacky premise.
Yeah. Because that sounds like it has a lot of promise, actually, to some degree, but yeah.
Yeah. Maybe after this sequel, whenever it comes out, maybe there'll be a renaissance of body swapping movies.
I mean, I don't have anything against them. It's just they're usually not good. So I don't know.
No, maybe we'll get big again.
Big again? Bigger. I don't know.
Biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it could happen.
All right. Well, we're going to swap ourselves right out of here.
Okay.
Thank you for listening, everybody.
See you next time. You've been listening to The Long Rewind. The program is produced by Dustin Morrow and hosted by me, Lisa Molinelli. If you enjoy the show, please consider hitting the subscribe button, leave us a good review on your podcast app, and tell your friends about the program. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.